Hello, and welcome to the Wednesday night, day, morning, afternoon, whatever you want to call it, modeling stream. Good to see you. I'm Bryan Bentley, your modeling mentor. I'm the visual effects. No, I'm not the visual effects. I'm the modeling. That's my old job. I'm the modeling department head here at CG Spectrum. Go to cgspectrum.com/3D modeling for all of your 3D modeling needs. All right. Where are we at now? Got my tea, feeling good today. Had a long day, jumping into Unreal. Oh, it's still painful. It's still painful for me getting in Unreal. So that's just something to be said. Like, even the most seasoned people, professionals, what have you, they still have to learn new stuff. You're always going to have to learn new stuff, especially in this racket. There's always new everything, new technology, new computers, new hardware, new everything. So keep learning. So along those lines, I want to try to finish texturing Kortex, a little Kortex bot, this stream, so I can get to getting a simple rig in him and then getting him into and working through that. Now that is going to be a whole other journey, which we probably won't get to now, but we will get to it eventually. So where did we leave off last time? Last time we left off, we did these sweet decals, put some damage on them. We did kind of like this dirty headpiece, head dome thing here. We did, yeah, we did all these decals. So I showed you how to do all these decals procedurally so that we can swap them out very quickly and easily. So the last thing I did, the very last bit, and I kind of rushed through it, was I added this little glowing kind of stickery bit here on the chest. And I went back and I looked at it, and I kind of don't really like it too much. So I figured this stream will focus on glowy bits, things that glow. So I'm going to get rid of this sticker. And what I want is, I want it to look like, now I do like that there's a glowy bit on his chest. So what I think I want is, because I have like this big red thing here, right? And then I have my brain, and then I have like these kind of glowing bits coming up and touching the glass here. So I'm thinking, and this says like radioactive, like, right? And this kind of looks like like something that would be like a coolant. Like, you see like those little fins that come off of stuff, they're like for cooling. So I'm thinking, because this guy is all red like this, I'm thinking that wherever there's red, there's like something like hot and radioactive and like really dangerous inside him. So like maybe that's what fuels kind of like what fuels the inside of this guy. Like, he's just full of like this bonkers crazy energy. So what that'll allow me to do, I think, so these vents can also be kind of coolant. Like they're constantly shooting out like either like hot steam or coolant or something. So I think it would be really cool, and I don't want to go overboard with this, but if like all this stuff, because I have these cables coming in here as well, so maybe these cables, like there's this big hot stuff here, and that hot stuff comes through here and then goes down into here and then does something and then goes down into here. So it's kind of like he's just full of this kind of molten kind of energy type stuff. So I kind of want little windows into sorry, my dog is going nuts outside. I want little windows into that fuel, like into that like kind of like thing. So I can put one, like put something here that pushes into that. I want to get rid of this sticker because it's kind of hokey. Maybe something along those lines. Maybe something on the side here, and just kind of like fill it out. Like, I definitely probably want to put something on the side of the leg here because this is looking a little flat and a little boring. Okay, so let's get into doing that, and I'll also talk about how to make your glows look really, really interesting. I also want a thing with the eyes, like the back of the eyes. I want to make these look like these are like really white, but I want to get back to having them be red, like the concept art. And let me see if I can get it. 1 second. Some people were asking the last stream, because I haven't been bringing it up. where this little dude came from, where the idea came from. I am not a concept designer, but I love art books. So this is from the guys over at Creature Box. This is from their book Palindrome. It's one of the robots in here. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, it's this little guy right there. So that's the guy. See if I can get it to focus. That's the guy that I've been building for the past couple months. Great stuff. Go check them out. They have tons and tons of fantastic books. If you guys are watching, shoot me a line. I'm a huge fan. All right. So that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to work on glows and interesting glows. Okay. So there's this belly sticker. So yeah, let's just get rid of that. That looks not good. That was rushed. Totally rushed. Okay. So I'm going to solo this just so I don't get distracted by anything else. And I want to make basically my basic my basic glowing texture, and then I will put that put little slats. So I'm just going to make a glowing texture that goes over the entire thing. This might actually even give me a chance to make a smart material. Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good. Okay, so boom, boom, boom. Let's see. I'm here. Let's see. I'm on base color. There's my anchor. Okay, so I'm going to make you guessed it, a fill. Haha. So I'm going to make a fill. So I'm going to call this Glow 1. And it'll become very apparent why I'm doing this glow. So this glow, I want it to have everything. I want it to have emissive, normal, metal, everything. So for my base color, I don't think I need any base color. And then for my height, remember, I want this to just completely replace. So he just goes back to being super, super smooth. So my height, I'm going to drop a little bit. Now we won't be able to see this until I actually put a mask on this, but so I'm going to do -0.03. I want this pushing pretty far. My metallic, I don't want any metallic. Actually, I don't really need my normal here. That's fine. And then my emissive, now this is where I'm going to make him really, really bright. Okay. So we'll go here. I'm going to go like a kind of like a deep orange emission color. And I think I'm getting a little bit of a false positive here. Let me go check my shader. And I want to make sure that, yeah, my emissive strength is probably, emissive intensity, I'm just going to put that back to 1 for now. Okay. So my emissive color, I want like a really warm orangey glow. Now, things that glow really hot don't really have a lot of saturation, because a lot of students I see and a lot of people, they're like, oh, I'm gonna make it glow, and this is their glow. This is not how light works. The brighter something gets, the less saturated it is. So we just want a little tint in that glow there. Okay, so this is my Glow 1. So now I think what I want to do is put a material on top of this that is going to kind of like a grating that goes on top of my glow. So I'm gonna do so I'm gonna say new. I'm gonna say glow mesh. So if I go and I take this glow mesh, so this is just like, it's just like a flat gray material. Once again, don't need my normal map. So if I go and I mask this, so I'm going to say black mask. And I'm just going to put a pattern in here. So I'm going to say fill. Just building this out, really simple. I want to go get patterns. I think I have this procedurals. And let's grab just a simple pattern. I just want, oh, that's pretty cool. That's like sci-fi. So I kind of like that. Looks like a mesh, graded mesh. So we're going to drop that in there. And so once again, I don't want this to be in UV space. I want this to be in triplanar. And I want to bring my scale down. So that's pretty nice. So actually that's a little bit too small because I'm starting to hit my texture space here, so, or my texture resolution space. There. So, and let's see, maybe I want to also lift this up. Let's do a height of, let's do 0.1. Pushing out a little bit. Now, when this thing turns a corner, I'm going to get like this doubling, but they're going to be very, very, we're not going to do this everywhere. I'm not going to do this everywhere. Okay. So, actually what I want to do, I believe, I'm going to actually do the opposite of this. What I'm going to do, yeah, no. I'll do my glow, and then I'll do my mesh, and then I'll do glows on top of this mesh. So this mesh is really thin. I think I need a little bit thicker, thicker grading here. Let's see. Oh, so I have those my sci-fi patterns and my own stuff. So let's go back to my, let's clear this and go to my shelf. And let's look at my, I think I have sci-fi patterns here somewhere. Here we go, sci-fi patterns. And I think there's some pretty cool stuff in here. Ooh, this one's nice. I'm gonna take this one and use this one. And so I'm gonna go back and I'm actually gonna use these as anchors, I believe. Talking through this. So I want, yeah, that's nice. I like that. So I'll get like this glow in between here. Maybe something a little bit thicker. Just trying to find a happy middle ground. I'm Goldilocksing right now. I'm like, oh, this one's too thin, that one's too much. I think this one will work. Okay, so this is my little grading, right? So now if if I want to take, so my glow, so this glow is going to be my really wide glow, right? So my wide glow is actually, you know what? Yeah, I am gonna make this glow above this guy. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to steal this so if I turn this off, that's everything. So I need something else underneath this as well. So this is my mesh, and I'm gonna make and I'm kind of freestyling here. So, and this is what the great thing about Substance is you're not really, especially when you work in fills, you're not really beholden to anything. So let's do this guy. So let's turn that off. Yeah, that's what I want. So this is going to be my under base. Okay, so my under base, and then my mesh stuff on top. So I'm going to make I'll make my under base, I'm going to make that color really dark as well. So maybe not completely black, but very, very dark. So basically what I'm thinking is like this is my base material, and this also needs to be normal. This is my base material, and that also needs to be normal. This is my base material, and then I'm going to glow above this. And I'll show you why I'm kind of doing this backwards here in a second. What's up, Richard? How you doing, man? Good Wednesday. Good Wednesday. All right. So this is my glow mesh, and this is my glow one. So I'm going to turn this back on, and I'm going to make a anchor out of this. So let's create anchor point. So this glow mesh mask. So I'm going to say come to here and say right click and say add black mask. Okay, so that'll wipe everything out. And now I'm going to say, give me a fill. And in this fill, go get me that anchor. So that glow mask. Bam. So what this is putting the glow in the same place as my mesh. Don't want to do that. So I'm going to take a, let's do a levels. And I'm going to invert this guy. Bam. So now I have glow here. So the great thing about this now, this is what's really cool about this. So this is going to be my base glow. So this is going to be really wide. So I can take, and I'm going to put a little blur on this. I'm going to say filter, and I'm going to say blur. And immediately this looks like it's already glowing. Now that blur is Way too strong. So a little bit goes a really long way. So that's my first glow. And this one is going to be actually pretty dim. So I want to take, what I'm going to do is whenever I bring my saturation up, I bring my value down. So I'm going to take my saturation up and I'll bring my value down. So that's my glow there. Okay, so it doesn't look like a glow right now because this is like the super, super dim glow. Okay, so I'm going to take this blur, maybe blur it just a little bit more just so we get a little bit of that bleed out there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy and paste this. So I'm going to call this glow 2. Let's see. Copy. And Control V. So this is now going to be glow 2. All right, so my glow 2 is going to be a little bit brighter. So this is going to go a little bit brighter, and this is going to go a little bit more saturated. And I'm even going to hue shift this a little bit towards, and actually when you're doing like towards blue. Now that seems weird, but the hotter things get, like white hot, it hits blue first. So I'm going to push this a little bit into the yellow. Not too far, because I don't want to get too far into the green. And so now with this, now I have this whole layer stack. So I'm going to take this and above this, I want to contract that mask. So I'm going to say levels. And yeah, so let's see. Let's pull this mask in. So there's my mask. And I'm going to pull that in. So I want to say bring in the dark spots and tighten that up. Yeah. So when I go back to my color, we can see I have that dark bit around there, that dark glow around the edge there, and then my tighter, a little bit brighter glow. So with this, I can push that guy in a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. So now we're starting to get like these glowing, hot middle pieces. Okay, and then so for the last one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make this one almost super bright white, and it'll be in the middle, and I might even blur it out a little bit after the fact. So same thing. So this is glow 1, this is going to be glow 2, and for this glow, I'm kind of winging it. I had a concept for the robot, which I can grab again. Where is that? But the challenge of this was that there was no color. Like the only color on the robot was just the red of the eyes. So if you can see that there, that was the original concept by these guys that work at a place called Creature Box, or they run a website named Creature Box. Their names are David Gutin and Gregory Baldwin. Yes. So for this, I'm just making up the stuff that I want to do. Okay, so that's my middle glow. So I'm going to duplicate this again. So Control C, Control V. So it's going to be glow 3. Glow 3, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to take this color, I'm going to take my saturation way down, I'm going to take my value way up. Like this is like going to be like super, super bright. Okay, so I'm going to take that levels, and I'm going to push that even further inwards. I'm just getting like that really, really hot, super hot center. So now the cool thing is, you're like, well, that doesn't look like it's glowing. So because I set my glow intensity back to 1, and I don't think I can take, generally what I would do in a shader is I would take my value and put it to like 5, but I don't think I can do that here. Yeah, no, won't let me do it. So So I'm going to put this almost all the way to 1, like 0.75, 0.8. And this is going to go almost all the way down. So we see I have my 3 layers. And so now what I'll do with this one is, so you get that hot center. So I'll take this and I'll actually blur this just a little bit, just to get like a little bit of that, a little bit more of that bleeding out. So I'm going to say add filter. I'm going to say blur. And yeah, so that pushes that out. And I might do this for all of them. Maybe this one I'll keep pretty tight because I don't really have a lot of pixels to work with here. So I'll put another blur here. Add filter. Give me a blur. Yeah, that's nice. That works really well because I feel like it's getting like a little bit. I'm basically faking kind of bloom a little bit here. Cool. That's I'm really liking this this pattern. So the thing is now is that let's see. So if I come back to my shader and I say emissive intensity, I start to turn that up. So now I'm getting. Let's turn that up to like let's say 3. I feel like that's a good number. So now this is where it starts to really shine. So you're getting like that super hot center, and then you're getting like it fall off as it gets close to these little crevices and whatnot. So I can start to play with this a little more. Maybe my glow 3, like my hottest glow, could get a little bit, bleed out a little bit more there. Awesome. Cool. So now what I'll do is I'll take, so these are all my mesh glowing bits. So I have my glow mesh, glow 1, 2, 3, and I'll call this glow base. So I'm going to take all of these guys here, and actually, do I want to make those bits bigger? Or smaller? So let's see. And this is the cool thing about this. Because of the way I've built this, I can make those meshing parts bigger or smaller, and everything lines up. Because I'm building all of those meshes off of this mask. Working procedurally will save you so much time. So it looks like I lose my middle ground right in about there. So yeah, I'll be right about there. All right. So now I'm going to take all of these, my base, my mesh, my glow 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to put those in a group. Glow. Call this glow smart. So I'm eventually going to turn this into a smart material. Now is where the fun starts. So now I can determine, because I have like this, I basically made a substance at this point. Made a substance. So now I can determine, I can say where this should be, which is really cool. So that goes back to what we did last time with using our decals and such. So I'm going to say create black mask. So it's going to wipe away all that stuff. Oh man, that feels much better on my eyes. And I'm gonna go and redo what I did last time. So I'm gonna make like these fills. Now I want to make sure that. Well, I'll deal with my height layer. I want the whole thing to be kind of inset a little bit. So I want to inset everything. So I may have to put just a height layer that's just gonna push everything back. It's gonna subtract everything. So, but for now, I'm gonna do add fill. And in my fill, I'm going to go back to that, let's see. Let's go back to my basic signs. I really like this pack. And I'm going to go with sign alphas. And let's do, Yeah, I'm going to keep with this radioactive symbol. So I'm going to take in here and do this grayscale. Bam. And so I'm going to pull this down. And remember, I don't want it to repeat because I just want it in the one spot. Let's see where, yeah, there we go. So is that actually pushing in is what I want to, so I want a little lip on this edge here. So I want to push this guy inwards, but I'm really liking, I like that, I like this look. So I just need to figure out how to push this guy inwards a bit. So I know my glow pushes in. So maybe here, let's add a new fill. And this will just be height. And I wonder if I can push this down. Now my default, oh, there it is. Yeah. This is pushing inwards now. Yeah, so this height is just pushing into the surface just a bit. So I'm getting just a teensy little lift on the edge there, which is what I like. And so this guy is, oh, it's auto-saving. Haha, great, thank you. Substance, so now this guy is here. So let's swing that around. And I really want that to be pretty intense. Now this is just, yeah, there we go. Yeah, I really like that. That looks much better than that weird glowing sticker that was on his chest. But it's a little oblong right now because it's in UV space. So let's go ahead and do let's do a planar projection instead of a UV projection. So let's do planar. And so remember, anytime you do planar, you need to reset this stuff. So offset goes to 0. This goes to 0. Because at this point, you are using your world space instead of UV space. Take this, put that there. And I'm gonna, let's rotate this a little bit. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, so this is gonna be fill layer 3. This is gonna be height. This will be glow. Height negative. Always name your layers. Always name your layers. So that's looking pretty good. I like that. I like that. So we can see what this looks like if I put on. I usually don't do this, but I like to see it just a little bit. If I do post effects, just give me a little bit of a glare there. Threshold down. Ooh, too much. Yeah, just get a little bit of that. And let's do, pull that down. There we go. Yeah, it's feeling pretty good. I like that. I like these little hot kind of pockets in here. That's looking pretty good. So let's turn that back off because it can get annoying to look at for a long time. Okay, sweet. So now I'm off to the races. I can do whatever I want. So before I go any further, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this into a smart material because it's in a group. I can say right click and I can say where is it? This is across create smart material. So I can click my create smart material, and then if I go to my smart materials here, should see the very bottom. Where are you? Should be. Let's look. Yeah, there it is. Glow Smart. Awesome. Awesome. So I can use this. Let's see where that was. F glass gold. Where is it? Ah, there it is. It's Glow Smart right there. So I'm going to reuse this later. So I just need to remember where that is. Okay, so now I can make another. So I want some kind of like the hazard stripes on his back here, right? So we'll do the same thing. Say create fill. Add fill. We're going to set this to screen. And I'm going to go back to my, clear that out. Go back to my textures. Alphas, and I think this one. I like this one. So same thing. Gonna take this, and we'll keep it at UV projection. I usually try to do UV projection first because it's usually a little bit cheaper than. Oh, actually, I like that. So I don't think I'm gonna be able to get away with UV projection on this one though. Maybe. Yeah, I'm okay with that. He has these glowing parts that are like kind of coming out that we can see underneath. Actually, no, I don't like this. This is very wobbly. I'm going to do this as a projection. It's also made much easier to make things dead center when you're using as a projection. So I don't want that to be too low. I want it to be like across his shoulder blade, because down here is going to look like a diaper or a bumper sticker or something. So. Yeah, sweet, dope on a rope. Okay. So that's that stuff. Now we'll come back to that in a minute. So the next thing I want to do is I want to work on these eyes. I want to work on my eyes a bit. So let's see. These are outer eye, inner eye, and I'm actually going to group these guys together as well. Just because all those things should kind of go together. So I'm going to take my inner eye, outer eye. That's going to go into there. Okay, so for my eyes, I want this to be like really smooth plastic, and I forgot to smooth this when I brought it in, but you're never gonna. I don't think I'll ever get that super close to him, so I think that's okay. So my outer eye is this material here, and my inner eye is this material here. So it is. Let's see. So I have this inner eye base. It's got an emission. Doesn't have any emissive, and then this guy up here is my emission. That is only emission. So if we remember, if I put, yeah, so I have a little bit of that same idea there. So I think I want to tighten that up a little bit. Like I'm not getting like that deep dark black on that corner that I really want. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to do another levels, and I want to start to bring this in so I get like that really pretty dark edge. where that light shouldn't really be able to get. And already just doing that, like, it looks way more menacing. So let's see what we get when we go back to our color. Yeah, I like that a lot. That's feeling way, way better. Just that little kind of hint of under darkness, or like light. It makes it feel more kind of gooey overall. It just doesn't look like this flat glowing thing. Because it's really easy to go overboard on glowing stuff, and I probably am going a little bit overboard, but it's my project and I can do what I want. Haha. All right. So the next thing I want to do, so now that I've taken care of that, and that just looks really cool, like that really dark piece. So I want these back parts here to kind of look like they're a screen. Okay. So I have this outer eye group here. So there's my base, and I don't have any emissive. So on this guy, I'm going to make another one that's going to be emissive, and it's going to have like these lines that go through it. Now, because my eyeballs are kind of crazy over here, I'm probably going to have to do one material for each eye, because I didn't really lay this out as well as I could, but you know, you work around what you do. Okay, so for my outer eye base, I don't want to get like all this beat up stuff. I want this to look pretty clean plastic. So I'm going to go back to my height, and I'm going to take that outer eye base, I'm going to set that to normal. So that should, outer eye base, set that to normal. Oh, I need to give it height. Should knock that out. Yeah. Outer eye base, height, normal. And actually even my inner eye. So this is my inner eye base. This is going to be my, I didn't name this, I'm going to call this inner eye glow. And let's see, height, let's set that. So this doesn't even have any height data in it, I believe. Yeah, that's just emissive. So, okay. So my inner eye base, that should have height, and it should be 0. So that should be smooth. And my outer eye base, that has height, that's 0, that sets normal. So that should knock out most of that. I might even have to put a normal on here and set my normal to, instead of normal detail, just normal. Should knock that out. Okay, cool, great. All right, so let's see, my outer eye base, and so I'm going to take this base material, and I'm going to actually make it a little bit darker, because that's what you want. You want, if you're going to have something glowing, you need it to be backed by something mildly dark, just so you have that that contrast. Okay, so I'm going to make another fill. You guessed it, and this one is like the one above it is just going to be just my emission. That, make it really, really bright. Okay, so just like I've been doing before, I'm going to take and make a black mask and then a fill. So for this, I want kind of like television lines coming across. So that I think I can do in my procedurals, and I'm sure there is a possibly gradient, something like that. I could use this. Its fibers could work because it's so small. It'll end up looking like TV lines. I want something a little bit more stripes. That could work. That'll actually work. So let's drop those stripes in there. And yeah, that's actually working really well. So let's take our scale. Let's start to bring that way down. Yeah, starting to get those TV lines in there. And actually, I'm not super mad at this angle. I kind of wanted him to go straight across, but I'll stick to my guns. So let's do this. Let's come down to our stripe, and let's look at the stripe width. So we can make that. Okay. Digging that. And so then I can do a blur. Add filter. And then let's do a blur just to soften that edge. Now, I don't really have a lot of pixels to work with there, so I just need to be very, very careful. So I might need to bring my stripe width down a little bit more so I can accommodate that blur. Oh yeah, that's what I like. That's really nice. That's working well. Okay, so if that's the case, so I can take and I can start to rotate this until I get it in the orientation that I want. Oh, and look at that. I am better than I thought I was. So now I kind of got this like TV eyeball thing. But I don't want that to be all out here. So this is one of the few cases where I'm actually going to use a paint for my mask. Yeah, for my mask. So for that, I'm going to take and say paint. And then I'll take, and I'm actually going to use my UVs to paint this. So this is going to be, if I look at here, yeah, so I want to paint, let's see, I want this to be white, everything else to be black. So how do I want to do this? I use paint so little. So what I'll do is I'll paint, so I think I'll have to fill this with black. So I'm going to take this whole thing and I'm just going to select everything and fill it with black. So black. Oh, I need to be on my paint layer, I believe. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to fill that whole thing with black. And then I'm going to fill this guy with white. So in my UVs, still on that paint. Let's see if it'll let me do that. Oh, I need to put it to white. So fill that, fill that. So this is getting crazy because now we're doing like mask inception, right? So all this is black and all this is white. So I want to multiply this by everything underneath, just like a Photoshop layer. So wherever this thing is white, I'm going to get everything else underneath. Wherever it's black, I'm going to get nothing. So I'm going to set this to multiply. Bam! Look at that. Ooh. Very nice. Very nice. Oh, I like it already. I like it already. That looks really, really good. And so now maybe even, like, I feel like I'm losing this, like, just like all glowing. So I think I'll take my emission for this guy. Let's see. So I'm going to take the emission layer for this, and I'm just going to take and drop its opacity down just a little bit. Just make it not so severe. Actually, you know what? No, I want to keep the eyes bright, and I'm going to drop the emission of the kind of like the little TV lines. So this is outer eye glow. And so yeah, my emission, that I'm going to drop that just a little bit. Yeah, that's feeling really nice. Let's bring that all back. Get him in a dark spot. Yeah, it's feeling really good. All right, so now this is where the fun part starts. Is now I can start to use the rest of this glowing stuff wherever I want. So I said I wanted to do like something on the legs. I want to do something here. I definitely want to do these back parts at least, like these glowing parts in here. I want these to look like vents that are pushing away like letting out heat. Okay, so now, what I'll do is I'll go to my next one. Let's see, let's solo this. I think I want to go to my head next. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll go back to my smart materials, go find that glow smart, and over here, base color. So it's my decals. So my glow smart here, I'm just going to drop this right on top. So it's still got that mask on it, so I can actually remove that. And so this is all nice and set up for me now. I can put, you know, where I want over here. So let's put something here. So this this texture set doesn't have any emission, so I need to add emission to this. And so I'm losing a little bit of that, a little bit of my grading here. So maybe, so if I pull it over there, just trying to find something interesting to do with this, since I put all the work into it. Just trying to find a place to put this. Maybe here. Actually, you know what? I'll leave this off. I just don't have, like, this thing is tiny, teeny tiny here. So I just don't have the texture resolution. If I were to do this again, I think I don't know what I was thinking. I gave these bolts way too much texture space. I think I was probably tired. Yeah, I would go back in, and maybe I will even try to do something where I can show you how you can even, because this is all procedural, I can move this stuff around. Like, I can go back to Maya and kind of, so this one needs a lot of work. Like, this should probably take up like this entire thing here. So I'll make a mental note of that. But sometimes you just gotta let stuff go. So let's get rid of that. Let's move on to something else. Let's do this leg. How much texture space we got in this leg? So let's grab our glow, drop that in there, and let's remove that guy. And let's put this back to UV projection. And once again, this guy needs an emission. Oh yeah, that's looking real good. That's gonna look cool. So maybe I can just do a band straight through his leg. So let's try that. Or, you know what? Let's try. I want to do. What else can we do? So I do like this stuff inside of here. So I want to keep that. I want to keep that inside of there. And I want to do something on the leg. Maybe something in here, like where these like little holes are. I don't know. I'm guessing. Let's see what we have in our procedurals and see what we get. Actually, you don't even really have to use procedurals. What I can do is I can just use my shape of my projection. So I'm going to do, instead of UV projection, I'm going to do actually triplanar. And I'm going to turn off projection extends. So now wherever this box is, I'll get that projection, which is really nice. So I can just literally just paint where I want this to be. I think I like the look of that. Just like a little window there. I could also, because this is just projection, I could just start throwing stuff in there and see what works. Let's see. Maybe some stripes. Oh, I like that. Like, it looks like a little graded window right there. So I can just play around with my stripe. Width. Yeah, there we go. I like that. It's really nice. Take these down a little bit. So make it just like this little graded window. Oh, that's fantastic. I did not even plan that. Let's see what this looks like if I put it on the front. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave this like it is. I like this. Don't want it to bleed too far onto the side of the leg. But yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Oh, thank you, Radman. How's it going, man? Cool. All right, let's go and let's just show everything. Make sure I'm not going overboard on my glows. All right. So I got to do this on my other leg. So actually, for this, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy Control C that guy, and I'm going to go over my other leg. So I want to do the same thing over there. Control V. I think I just need to go and get that. I wonder if there's a mirror. Let's do add filter. There might be a mirror filter on here. Let's see. Can never remember. Transform, sharpen. Might be under transform, warp, mirror. There we go. Now this mirror is going to say mirror axis. Oh, I need my emission. Okay. And let's see. Is this mirror working? True. Okay, so this is mirroring in UV space, which is not helping me. So let's go away. So I may just have to just position this thing in space again. So let's go 3D projection. Let's just put this back to, put these all back to 0. And my rotations to 0, and I'll just reposition that. Because it's the legs, I don't have to be 100% spot on. I just need to get the feel of it. All right, so I'm gonna position this about there. Look at it here. Position it about there. It's feeling good. Now I'm just gonna line it up with the leg. Bring this down. Let's bring my other leg up for reference. Yeah, it's feeling good. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I like that. Little glowing kind of bits there. I really like this. I actually really, really like this. So I think what I'm going to do, let's see, what else? What other... so these are my procedurals. I think there are... Let's see, what else can I play with? Alphas. Ooh, yeah. That's what I was thinking of. I want alphas. So something for these guys. Oh, I like this. I like this circle here. That's a little bit too organic. This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. Got some leaves here. I could go super branded, put the Sumsys logo on there. I always use this one. I always end up using these two just because I like them so much. Ooh, I like this one. Let's do this one. I like that one. So let's go to my arm. So that. I'm pretty much going to have to do, I believe, the same thing. Now this arm is actually mirrored, I believe. So I might be able to use that mirror on there as well. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to come into here. Once again, add an emission texture. That's strange. Emissive. Let's see here. Emissive. These are all instanced. Why am I getting a glowing emissive texture? So something in my instances is glowing green for some reason. These things happen. These things happen. So I'm going to click this little guy and go to my main, one red. And let's see, where is that emissive coming from? So let's just work through. My red. So let's look at. So I'm going to go through my channels. I'm going to go to heights, roughness, metallic, normal, emissive. So I don't have anything green there. So let's turn all this off. It's just that. So layer stack is getting quite large. Okay, so that's fine. That's no emissive. That doesn't have any emissive. That doesn't have any emissive. The eyes have a little bit. And that's pretty much it until I get to my smart glow here. That's the only thing that's really giving me emissive color. So I'm not really sure where that's coming from. Let's go and look at. Maybe it's because I have no emissive at all. Let's actually also get rid of this layer. So I'm going to come all the way down to the bottom, perhaps. Let's just put a fill on here. That's emissive. Put that down to nothing. There we go. So I guess there's something coming through with my emissive. So let's just do this as, let's turn everything off except for my emission. So there we go. Just back to regular old stuff. So this is emissive block. Sometimes weird stuff happens like that. Okay, so let's go and Control V, glow, and I'm going to replace my stripes. So I'm going to set this back to UV projection. And we'll make this a little bit smaller. See if we can get this on my arm. So my arm is really split up. So I'm going to have to go with projections. Planar projection, and let's just actually, you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and restart this because this is set up for the leg, so I'm just gonna get rid of this. Say, add fill, And I'm going to go and grab, ooh, I like this. This is nice. Let's go grab that. And I'm going to set this immediately. I know my UV projection isn't going to work, so I'm going to go to planar and set about. And this is like the really fun stuff to me. Like I really enjoy doing this. Like everything else is fun, but this is really fun. Like this is what I really enjoy doing, this type of stuff. Because it's at this point you've like figured out all your. Oh, that's great. I like that a lot. At this point, you figured out all the technical stuff, and now you're just kind of having fun. So let's turn off repeat. Yeah, that's really cool. And then, like I said, I want the insides of these guys to be that that emissive as well. So I'm going to say add paint, and I'm going to use the UV. So I want to add one there. So I'm going to put this. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, those two things are sitting on top of each other. So wow, that's looking really good. I think this can be a little bit bigger. Oh yeah, yeah, I like that. That's looking really cool. So we're gonna finish this up. Finish this up. These glowing bits. I might put some on the feet as well. That might be a little bit overkill. Maybe I just want one on. I think I want a different decal on the arm as well. So we're gonna go over to the other arm. So I'm gonna actually copy this again. Control C, and we'll go over to the other arm. For this one, I may actually be able to, so I think I'm going to have that same problem when I add my emissive. It's going to get that green. Huh, no, it didn't. That's very strange. It just happened on that one. So I'm going to Control V. So this one I might be able to get away with doing a mirror. So let's try that again. So let's say add filter. And that will be a mirror. Emissive there. Am I on the right? Yep, I'm on the right thing. So because my triangle is in world space, so let's just take, I might be able to just take my X and say, flip this over, just like in Maya. So let's say put that over there. Yeah, seems to be working. And then I can just rotate this a little bit. And once again, they don't have to be exactly the same because you rarely ever see these two arms at the same time. So let's turn off this mirror and we'll redo this paint here. My UVs, that guy, and that guy. And one last thing I'll do on, I'll go back to the come back to the legs and put like little some decals here. I think I want to keep this triangle theme going, so I'll choose another one of these triangles, put them down on the feet as well down here. So I want a little bit of glow. So this part has the glow coming out the top. This has it coming out the sides, and then this will have it coming out the top as well. So same thing, Control C, and my foot, solo that. Oh, I already have my glow here, so I can just make another fill. So fill. Set this to screen. So anytime we're combining fills, we want to use screen. And let's just grab these angular ones. So let's just do, hey, this one. Looks like a nice little logo. Once again, I always try to do it in my UV projection first. So where would the top of my foot be? It's about right there. Yeah, that actually works really well with the UV projection. Mostly because it's easier to just move the UV projection around when you move this this texture around. Yep, cool. So I'll do the same thing. So remember which one I used for the other foot. Yeah, so I think this is a good place to stop. But once I put this on the other foot, because he's starting to look a little bit busy, but I'm liking where this is at. I'm really liking where this is at. So go over to my other foot. I have that glow. Once again, do a. I wonder if I can do a copy mask. Toggle mask, invert mask. Copy my layers. I cannot copy my mask. So, fill. Screen. Triangle. Do not repeat. And then I'll place this where it needs to be, on top of the foot. Actually, you know what? I think I'll also, I'm going to invert this. Yeah, because I want these dark, the dark parts to be pointing outward. Sweet, 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 sweet. So I want to see how these glows, because our glows are kind of the focus. I'm going to drop the environment, my environment exposure. I'm going to bring this down and kind of see what it looks like if he was kind of coming at you in the dark. It's pretty cool. And let's push this emissive intensity up. So that's cool. You can like turn them on, like woo! That's awesome. Really like this. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Now, this would be, we'd probably do this in the shader when we get to wherever we're going to go. All right, so let's have a look at this in the renderer. Let me save this first. Have a look at this in the renderer. And so I have quite a large screen now, so I'm going to do override viewport resolution, so it's not trying to render like a 4K image. And this is even pretty big, 1280 by 720. Just make it a little bit smaller, a little bit easier to deal with. A little bit. I'm really, yeah, this is turning out really well. So I feel like I'm losing a little bit of that hard work that I did for the base of intensity a little bit as well. Yeah, there we go. And so I turned off my refraction so that I could keep my details on the glass here. So I don't get any refraction, but I get everything else. So this is looking really good. Pretty happy with this. So one thing that I'll do is I go to display settings and I'll change around my my environment to see what this looks like. Ooh, super moody. Let's see what else we got. This is very orange. Let's do some production renders, so we can talk about doing some production renders. Let's see, what's a good. So let's go to some of our studio lighting. A lot like what we did in Maya a long time ago. So I'm gonna let's talk about some production rendering and some of the post effects that we can do. Post effects, everybody loves post effects. I fought them for a really long time, but I enjoy them. So let's see. In my environment, I have texture scale, clear. So my ground Y, I'm going to put that at 0. It should put him right on the floor. So I'm just trying to set up before. Nope. 45. 49. Goldilocksing at this point. There we go. 49. 48, maybe. 48.5. There we go. So set him right on the ground. That's nice. So let's do kind of like some dramatic framing here. Like that. I don't want to be able to see my background, so I'm just going to do clear color. So that'll knock out the background. And let's do, let's bring our exposure up a little bit. It's a little bit too dark. This is oddly heroic for this character. Like, he seems, before he seemed really, really menacing, and now he's like, this is like a hero shot. So let's see, what else do we want to do? Let's do some depth of field. So your depth of field is like when you get that blur. So I'm going to do my focal distance. If I do my focal distance and I click control and click, that should give me my new focal distance. Yeah. So I'm going to start to bring my aperture up. And the bigger my aperture, the more blurry I'm going to get. Let's see. Control and middle. There we go. Control and middle click. So that will change my autofocus, my focal distance to be that spot. My focal length is 17. That's pretty wide. My view is 50, and my focal distance. So my aperture, the bigger my aperture is, the more blur I'm going to get. So this is a little bit too much. So I'm going to start to bring this down. Let that resolve a little bit. Yeah, so this stuff back here is going to be really, really pretty blurry, and this stuff up here should be pretty. And actually, I'm going to put this on the Instagrams, so I'm going to make this square 1280. Cool. An aperture of 1 is insane. So let's do focal distance. That's good. That's feeling good. All right. So now, post effects. Activate post effects. So I did this a little bit already with the glare. There's a bunch of different types of glare. You can do lens flares. You can do standard. I think I like standard. I'm going to bring my threshold way down because that's way too much. Or actually, I'm going to bring my threshold up. So your threshold is basically how bright something has to be before it will receive bloom. So I really don't like these like big lens flares here. So let's take our luminance down. I just want it to be really, really subtle. Just a bit. So you want on all these post effects, you really, really very subtle. So I have depth of field already. I have actual depth of field. Tone mapping. Bring in a little bit of a vignette. Corners. And let's bring in a little bit of lens distortion. That's way too much. So this is kind of making him look like he's like an old, like on an old sci-fi channel, like TV type thing. Let's bring that edge. Yeah, that's fine. Do anti-aliasing. Kind of get rid of those. And you can only see my brain up here just a little bit, so it's not a big deal. So yeah, so this is how you can control your renders. You can get like a production render out of Substance. You don't really have to go anywhere. If you're just trying to make a pretty picture, show off your model, that's really, really all you need to do. So, and what this is going to do is it's just going to keep kind of cranking away. So the way that iRay works is it's either time or samples. So whichever gets hit first. So my max time I've set to 2 minutes. So 120 seconds. I could also just set that to 2 minutes. So if it hits 2 minutes first, before it hits 1,000 samples, it'll stop. So here, right, it's only hit 179, so this is actually pretty clean. The great thing about this is if I just go and, let's see, it hit 2 minutes, so I can do 20. So it'll just keep, or it, so I think I'll run Well, that's doing. Yeah, this is pretty much it for the texturing of this guy. So in the next lessons, and actually in this lesson, I want to rig this guy. So we have about we got about half an hour left. So I'm gonna jump back into Maya and I'm gonna start talking about some really simple rigging with a software called Advanced Skeleton. So what Advanced Skeleton is, it's an auto rigger. So it's a really big program. It's free for students and education. It's a great way for students and hobbyists to rig their characters. It doesn't. You don't have to know a ton about rigging. It helps if you know a little bit. But if you know a lot about rigging, you can be really dangerous. So, okay, this is done. So I hit 1,000. I hit 1,000 samples, and I'm about at about 2 minutes 38. So I want to save this render, and if you have an ArtStation account, this is the other cool thing. You can spit this straight out to ArtStation, so you don't have to like download it and upload it. You can say, hey, spit this straight out to my ArtStation. So yeah, so this is pretty dope. So I'm going to say save render. I'm just going to save this as put that on my desktop. We'll call this Kortex Hero. And actually, you know what? I really like this. I'm going to go ahead and just do a few more of these. Why not? It only takes 2 minutes to render. So one thing I wish that you could do is save. You can bring in cameras from other applications. I guess there was like a bookmark cameras in here. So it's work to build. Then why not take the time to actually sit and render it? So one thing that I am looking at this, so I may have to go back in. I may have to change my model a little bit to rig this guy because these arms are bent. So they're bent in the concept, but to rig them, I think I'm probably going to want them to make them straight. And these things happen. Like a lot of times you model to a concept, but the rigger's like, all right, I need you to kind of to squish this around and move it around. Now I did keep all my pivots because I'm very studious and I keep all my pivots. So I believe I still have that that curve that generated this guy. So I can use that curve to straighten this guy out and the claws and such. So we can get to that as well. Still rendering. About 500. Yeah, I'm really liking the eyes. I'm liking the little glows, like tasteful amount of glows. Maybe I went a little bit too far with the legs, but I really like the arms. I really like the little head wire things. It's working quite well. Just wait a few more minutes for this to render, and then we'll pop it over to Maya and look at Advanced Skeleton. Almost at 1,000. So I'm at 120 minutes. So I'm not going to wait 2 hours for this thing to render. And actually, this is good enough. So I'm going to say pause IRA render because I am impatient. So this is looking pretty good. So I'm going to say save render. So I'll say Kortex high angle. Do I want to do one more? Yeah, let's do a back shot. Let's do a back shot. Swing this around. And I'm gonna, because I want to highlight that, I'm gonna push in. So we'll just let that render. I really like the way that sticker turned out. Like this, it just looks like somebody like tried to like pick it off and like it just didn't come off all the way. Actually, I can see through that, guys. So I'm just gonna try to find an angle where you can't see through his body. And it looks like around like 700 samples, 800 samples, it starts to get pretty clean. It's a little noisy in here, so let's go ahead and stop this. And we'll save this as well. Kortex back. All right, sweet. So, in the next stream, I will show you how we can take all this hard work that we've done, and spit it out and use it in Maya. Maybe if I'm feeling brave, maybe even in Unreal, do some lighting in Unreal. Okay, so let me save this. All right, advanced skeleton, back to Maya. So we've had I think we had like 3 weeks, 3 weeks in Substance. Not too bad, not too bad. So this whole texturing journey. From Maya into Substance, really, if we think about this, is about 6 hours. 6 hours of work. It's not a lot. It's not a lot of time, which is great. But you work smart. You got to work smart. Okay, waiting on Maya to open, to initialize. So, Advanced Skeleton. Advanced Skeleton is, you can go get it. Just go on Google, look up Advanced Skeleton. It's 100%, like I said, it's 100% free, and it is amazing, an amazing auto rigging package. It's a great auto rigging package. It's I used to poo-poo on auto rigging because I was a rigger and I was like, oh, you should build it yourself. But feasibly, there's just no time. There's no time to rig a full character like in a production from scratch all the time, right? Like you rig arms the exact same way all the time. You rig spines the exact same way all the time. You rig legs the exact same way all the time. There's no reason to hand rig everything all the time. You get your base rig down just like everything else. You get your broad strokes in, and then you start working on your details. So that's what auto riggers allow you to do. It allows you to get your broad strokes in very, very fast. Okay, so I'm going to go over to my advanced skeleton. I'm going to turn it on, and I'll show you how quickly you can build a rig. So I'm just going to bring in a biped. Now, don't let all this scare you. This is just... So what we're going to focus on is this part right here, right now. Okay, so I'm going to bring in a biped. So this all comes with the software. It's 100% free. So I'm going to say import. So biped. There's my biped. And then I'll say build it. Build advanced skeleton. And that's pretty much it. Like it's great. Like if you have a humanoid-ish character, this is fantastic. Like this is wonderful. Right? 2 seconds and you've got a character. Which is really cool. But here's the kind of like the amazing part of it. I can always go back and this is the great thing about auto readers as well. I know this is a modeling stream, but you have to know just a little bit about modeling, because posing your character, if you want to be a great model, is like if you have a really good model and someone else has a really good model, and their model is in a T pose or an A pose, and your model is posed just a little bit, it just gives it like that little bit of life, right? You've gone like that little tiny extra step to curate your work, and that really shows that works with recruiters for real. So I'm gonna go back to my fit skeleton. So there's two skeletons in here that are always in here. There's your fit and your actual rig. So if I look at main, here's my fit, and here's my motion, and here's my deformation. Now this is really important, especially if you're going to go into games. If you're thinking about going into games or you're starting doing indie gaming, you need to know a little bit about rigging. This is just a hierarchy, right? There's no controls in here. There's no nothing. It's just in there, right? It's just there, right? So this is what will go to your game engine, or this is what will get sent to your lighters or your effects people or whatever. This is what drags around your actual geometry. Your motion system is all your controls and things like that. So that's what's really good about this auto rigging system, is it makes a very, very clear distinction between a fit skeleton, a motion system, and a deformation system. It's very, very, very good. Very good. It's been around for a while. So if I go back to my fit skeleton, this is a really cool thing. If I just take and I duplicate this arm and move it down, like that, I should be able to just rebuild everything. So now I need to say, I just need to do delete skeleton, and I say build advanced. It should build this second arm for me if I've done it correctly. Yeah, and voila, four-armed monster with a few button clicks, which is really cool. If I want to add a tail to this guy, I can do that as well. Right, so you can add limbs, you can add tails, you can add wings. Let's see if I can add wings to this guy. So let's bring in a bird. So let's go back to my fit skeleton, and I want to bring in, so temporarily what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rename this old, and I'm going to bring in a bird. So that brings me in a new fit skeleton, but really all I want off this bird is the wing. So I'm going to take the wing, and I'm going to parent it to the chest, child, parent. I've actually never tried this before, so I've never had to make an angel character, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to delete this old fit skeleton and rename this guy, and we'll see if this builds. I'm going to take, and I'm going to make this wing. I don't want him to be like a little dinky cherub. So I'm just going to grow these out. And let's see if it'll build. Complete advance. Build. Yeah, there we go. So I made a four-armed winged monster very, very quickly. So you can see how amazing this is. Like, if you have this, like, it makes, especially if you're doing humanoid characters, it makes your life much, 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 much easier. Much easier. Let's see what else we can do. Let's go back to toggle fit, delete advance, so I can get rid of these guys, and call this fit old again. And let's do dragon. Import that. So this dragon actually has a really cool wing here. So I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to take my dragon wing, and so this guy has a wing curve with it. So I want to make sure that those things move together. So I'm going to take and child, parent that. I want to also parent my wing curve. Delete my old fit skeleton. So I want to make sure that this guy and this guy move together. So for now, what I'll do is I'll take driven, and I'll say constrain. I'm just gonna temporarily glue those two guys together. So say apply. So now whenever I move that wing, that curve should come with it. Now I think I need to make sure that I delete that parent constraint before I build my skeleton, but it'll just allow me to keep those two things together. So that's pretty cool. Like that's like if you ever seen that old horror movie called Jeepers Creepers, that's pretty cool. So let's take this wing curve and delete that, and let's see if this will build. Boy, howdy. Look at that. That's fantastic. So I believe these guys, yes, those guys are your... So now I have these IK controls. So look at that. That's amazing. That's about... You know, well, it's somebody else's work. It's somebody else's 10 minutes of work, but it's somebody else's work. But I honestly cannot believe that this system is free for educational use. The person who put this together, I should find out what their name is, because they've been working on it for a really long time. This is fantastic work. Like it's wonderful. So here I can have my whole wing. I believe I can have my whole wing. Oh, that's blend. So I can grab this guy. I can control where each one of these like little fingers is pointing. Super duper handy. So basically you can sculpt the shape of the wing with these guys. Really, really good stuff. So I'll probably bring in Kortex and start building out his skeleton with this. So let's see if I remember where I put everything. We've got about 20 minutes left. Let's do recent projects, project palindrome, file, open scene. Should have. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-import file, import the FBX that I sent out to Substance. Let's see, that would be in, I think I put it in data. Kortex 4 paint FBX. Yeah, so there's my Kortex for paint. Actually, I need to yeah. So I'm gonna do new scene. File, import. Kortex for paint. Or actually, do I have this Kortex master geom? No, I want to do the Kortex for paint. Because that one's super clean. Kortex for paint. So what I'm going to do with this guy is I'm just going to clean him up a little bit. So I'm just going to grab, and I'm just going to assign him just another, like the standard shader. So existing favorite material, I'm going to say standard surface. So I'll make them all gray again. And I'm going to go into my hypershade. Material viewer? No, not material viewer. Viewport browser. Yeah, there we go. And I'm going to say edit, delete unused nodes. So I should just have my Lambert, my standard surface, and my standard surface 1. So I'm going to call this Kortex shading group. Sweet. Now, this guy is going to be for rigging. So I want to bring back in those pivots that I saved a long time ago while I was building this guy. There are these ball joints in here and these knee joints. I saved all those pivots. So I'm going to do File, Import. And I think I spat those out somewhere as well. Master Geom. I think I put Assets. Model whip. Where did I put those pivots? Scenes maybe for paint, dev, Kortex. Modeling whip. And cable. I might have to go into one of my older files and go get that. So this is where it's really important to name everything, because I know where I'm at. So this is the latest one. So this was done at 12.2, and let's go back up. For paint, look dev. Let's open this one up. So I'm going to save this guy for rigging. So I'm going to say File, Save Scene As. Say Kortex. That's for paint, and make sure I'm in scenes for paint, look dev. So I'm going to say Kortex rig. Okay, so I'm going to say File, New, and I'm just going to start importing stuff until I find those pivots. File, Import. Or actually, no, I can just open stuff until I find the pivots. They're small enough. Open scene. I think I thought about saving them at one point, and I just never did. So let's go to 400. Ah, there they are. Yeah, there we go. And if this is the case, I might just use this one. If this is my 400 with all my pivots in it, and I think I have a pretty clean outliner here. Yeah, I think I'll just use this one. I'll call this one the rig. File, Save Scene As. I'm gonna grab that. Call that rig. Yes. All right, so I should be all set up to rig this guy. So what I want to do before, I think I got time. I want to straighten these arms out. I want this to kind of be straight, have a straight line from there to there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my, let's see, that's my bolt circle, my arm pivots. I'm going to turn off all my geometry so I can see. Cable curves. Okay, so I don't have a curve for that arm piece. Don't matter, I can make one. So there's always ways around things that you need, that need to be built. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show my polygons. I'm going to duplicate this guy, Control D, because I don't want to break what's already there. So I'm going to hide these two. So what I want is I want a curve that runs through this that has one CV here, one CV here, and then one that's probably about here and one that's probably about there. So I'm going to do that with clusters. So a cluster is a great way to find the center of something. So I'm going to say deform cluster. I'm going to do the same thing down here. Just double click. Cluster. And then I'll do one maybe like about here. And then one maybe about there. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right, so these are now my curve points. So what I'll do is I'll go into, say, create CV curve tool to make sure that, reset tool, make sure that's cubic. I'm going to hold down V, which is going to snap to these curves. So I'm going to look at this in the front view. I want to get this as close to the center as I can. So I'm going to hide these clusters. So what I want is I want the line between this guy and that guy to be perpendicular, like a 90-degree angle to that. Okay? Great, cool. Okay, so now here's the tricky bit. I need to straighten this guy out. Okay? So I need to straighten this out. So what I'm going to do is, let's see, I can, but I want to keep it the same length. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a straight line that's the same length as this guy. So the first thing I'll do is curve wrap this thing to that thing. So I'm going to go to deform, and it's going to be a wire, and it says surfaces curve. So I'm going to say wire, and it's going to tell me down here, it's going to say select shapes to deform, press enter. Boom. Select curves to deform, press enter. Boom. So now, if I take this control vertex, it's going to move that guy around. Okay. So what I want to do now is I want to figure out how long this curve is. I can do this with a mel command called arc len. So this curve is 0.40462. So I'm going to copy this. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a curve that is that same length. So the easiest way for me to do this is I'll just make a curve that is going straight up and down from 0 to 1, and then I will I'll shrink it down. Yeah, shrink it down. So let's do create. Curve tools. I'm going to do an EP curve. So I'm just going to hold down X, which will snap to my grid. So grid. So this guy is now at 1. So I can change the Y scale to that. So now I know this curve is exactly the same length as that curve. All right. So I'll press D and move this to the end of that curve. Let's turn off my grid. Yeah. So I'll press C. Move that to there, press D. Hide my tube, and then I will take this curve and snap it to that guy. Come on, there we go. And then I can rotate this. This will all become clear in a second. Trust me. So now all I have to do is hide this again. Now I just take my control vertex. So I want to be able to view both my control vertices here, here, and here. So display, NURBS, CVs. So I'll just snap this guy's control vertices to the other guy's control vertices. So Control V, snap that to there, snap that to there, snap that to there. And so now I've straightened out this guy. Voila. Wunderbar. So this is a little stretched here. I can deal with that with some sculpting, or I can just try to rig this thing bent. So I'll have to do something special with let's see how bad that is. It's not too bad. Yeah, I can deal with that. So then what I would have to do is when I come back into Kortex, so I'll have to hide this. And then for this guy, I'll have to place my claw out here. So he's like kind of like this. Okay. So I'll do that in between the streams. Anyways, so we're moving along. I'm really happy with what we have so far. Let's go back and look at our wonderful renders that we did just a few minutes ago before I went into my rigging foray. So there's our back shot. There's our hero shot back. And I think we have one more, our high. Looking really good. I'm really happy where this is going. I can't wait to get this guy posed and rigged and honestly be done with it and move on to the next thing. All right. Thank you so much for joining me on the Wednesday night modeling stream. Happy New Year. Take care of yourself. Drink water, eat vegetables, all that stuff. Once again, I'm Bryan Bentley for CG Spectrum. For all your modeling needs, go to cgspectrum.com/3D modeling. Have a good week and be good to each other. I move my camera. Bye-bye.